Mr. Browning.
Thank you, Judge.
Your Honor, Corey Browning for Cody Ladner, 24 CF 2833. This is the first time up, Judge. We're going to have to pass it. It will be a full plea at your next pretrial. He resides in Mississippi.
Is it going to be plea to the felony?
Maybe.
I just want to know if it's going to be potentially a plea in absentia or something like that, so we can make sure all that's together.
I'm trying to get a misdemeanor, Judge. If it's not, we'll get it filed before that date. If not, we'll have him here to enter the plea.
The smiles I see from the state, looks like you got your work cut out for you, Mr. Browning. All right, so that'll be April 28th at 9 o'clock for purposes of potential plea.
Yes, sir.
Anything else, Mr. Browning?
Lastly, Judge, have Stephen Poche. Judge, this was originally a misdemeanor, sat in misdemeanor court for a while, got transferred. I think he got bond in December. It's just got here, and we asked to pass it. I do have a motion to suppress to file on this case.
Want to put that on the 28th as well?
Yes, Judge, and we'll get that drafted and filed and get it set with your JA.
Perfect.
Okay, that's all I have, Judge. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Have a good day. All right, Mr. Cobb. See him, we'll come back. Mr. Stewart. Good morning. You know, it's amazing how so many of you have the same exact handwriting.
May it please the court, Your Honor, Brad Stewart on behalf of Maury and James. Judge, this is 24 CF 2750. Mr. James is present and approaching. Your Honor, as Mr. James approaches, Mr. James is prepared to tender a plea of no contest to count 2. Judge, this is a plea, count 1 and count 2. This is a plea into a pretrial intervention program. Do you have a plea and sentencing agreement, Your Honor, if I may approach?
Signed by everyone?
Yes, Your Honor.
Come on up. Thank you, Mr. Stewart. Do we have the terms of the PTI?
Judge, I do have the pretrial intervention contract here. It's my understanding the department wanted him to take that contract to their office this morning.
I understand. So I just want to be able, so I can see it, so I can
Yeah,
announce the
right.
terms to make sure it's pretty clear as to what exactly Mr. James is going to be doing. All right, Mr. James, can you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes, sir. Okay, you can put your hand down. Can you state your name and how old you are, please?
Maury James, 41 years old.
41. Okay, and Mr. James, have you gone over this plea and sentencing agreement with your attorney, Mr. Stewart?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand what the PTI program is?
Yes, Your Honor.
That the case will be dismissed so long as you do all the terms of that, which is why I want to make sure I go over those with you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Do you need any more time to speak with Mr. Stewart?
No, Your Honor.
Has he answered all of your questions?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with his advice and representation?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or any controlled substances?
No, Your Honor.
Any mental health diagnoses?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Do you understand that by entering the plea, there won't be a trial of any kind?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you'd be giving up your trial rights, which are enumerated here in this agreement.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And has anyone forced, pressured, or threatened you in any way to?
No, Your Honor.
All right. And anyone promise you anything in return for this agreement?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. And as far as the pretrial intervention, calls for $615 in court costs, $150 cost of prosecution, substance abuse evaluation, and any recommended treatment. That you may terminate early after 6 months if everything's complete. Is that your understanding?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any other questions about that?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Stewart, I'm going to give you that back so you can give it to Mr. Berry.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Waiting on that. Thank you. Oh, there was one more page. I think it's just a signature page, but I want to make sure it's all part of it. All right, Mr. James, are you freely, voluntarily, knowingly entering your plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand that your plea would be withdrawn and the case dismissed if you finish the PTI?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Any other questions about that?
No, Your Honor.
All right. I'll accept your plea as freely, voluntarily, knowingly given. You'll do the pretrial intervention program as part of the terms of your sentence. You understand that if you are unsuccessful in your PTI, you'll come back and you'll be sentenced.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I mean, not trying to make this sound threatening in any way, but up to the maximum, which is 5 years in prison for the count one. Count two would be 11 months, 29 days. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
I'm not trying to say I would do that. Just want to make sure you understand what the maximum are, which are on the agreement that you've signed. Okay, and that was the possession of controlled substance, count one, and paraphernalia, count two. That's your understanding.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, Mr. James. Step over will be fingerprinted. I think I still need that, but those will be, do we not do those during PTIs? I got a little bit of a look from probation. I think we still do, just in case it's,
That'd be up to the,
Madam Clerk.
yes,
y'all need them?
fingerprints.
Yeah.
And then, Mr. James, you have 30 days to appeal. I'm not sure why you'll have to do that, but there it is. All right.
Your Honor, I've resolved the other matters on the docket, Judge. My other cases are inmates. May I be excused?
Yes, we'll see you on Wednesday.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Merrifield.
I'm going to handle the cases under Flaherty first, Judge.
I'm trying to get to that one.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
All right. Brady Merrifield on behalf of Philip Arnold. It's 24 CF 1947. There's a waiver on file for Mr. Arnold. I'd like to leave him set for docket day. Anticipate a plea in this matter, Judge. That was Arnold.
Yeah, I'm trying. Seems like some of my pages might be backwards. There we go. All right, which day did you need?
Docket day, Judge.
March 3rd. All right, it's getting kind of loud. It's hard to hear up here. All that kind of sound echoes this way, so if y'all could keep it down in the gallery, please.
Did you say March 3rd, Judge?
March 3rd is docket day.
Thank you. The next case is Austin Chastain, 24 CF 2668. It's the first time up. There is a waiver on file. Requesting a continuance. We're going to need to set depositions on Mr. Chastain's case.
No objection.
April 28th at 9 o'clock for Mr. Chastain.
Then I have Chase De Roberto in 23 CF 2489 and 2496. I'd like to leave this set for docket day. Anticipate a resolution in this one as well, Judge.
You had, is it Dee Dee? That was continued already, right?
Dee Dee was.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Just wanna
And then
make sure.
Conway was taken off your docket. And this is for Mr. De Roberto.
What do we do with De Roberto?
Setting him for docket day. Anticipate a resolution.
Okay, that's what I thought we talked about last time.
Yes, sir.
March 3rd at 9 o'clock.
Then I have Leah Feeback in 24 CF 2768. I'd also like to leave this one set for docket day. Anticipate a resolution to PTI.
That'll be March 3rd at 9 o'clock.
Yoy Rab Fernandez, 24 CF 2667. It's the first time up. There's a waiver on file. Judge, I am going to need to set some depositions or at least have an opportunity to have some meaningful conversation about this one, so I'm requesting the next pretrial.
All right, April 28th at 9 o'clock.
Madison McKenzie in 24 CF 1935, waiver on file for Ms. McKenzie. I'd also like to leave her set for the 3rd. I anticipate this will be in a plea in absentia, Judge, so I may get it filed before that time.
All right, March 3rd at 9 o'clock.
The next one on the list should be Matthew Packard in 24 CF 1455, 1456. There is a waiver on file for Mr. Packard. Judge, the status of his case is that we have engaged in meaningful plea negotiations. We believe that we have a resolution. I have identified a treatment program, which is difficult given the nature of the charges. So I am working on the logistics of that between treatment and probation. I believe we should be able to wrap this up next cycle.
Okay, so that's going to be April 28th, 9 o'clock. This one's getting a little bit older. Not too old, but it's starting to get there.
Yes, sir, Judge. And then I have Mary Lee Pear, 24 CF 2190. First time up, there's a waiver on file. There is quite a bit of discovery in this case. We have received it, but we need some time to go through it and possibly set a deposition. I'm requesting the 428 pretrial, and I don't believe there's an objection.
That's correct. No objection.
Why don't we all take this opportunity to make sure our cell phones are silenced going forward? All right, so you want 428 on pair?
Yes, please, Judge.
All right, April 28th at 9 o'clock for pair.
And then the next one is Elijah Pollard in 24 CF 2297. There's a waiver on file. I'd like to leave this one set for docket day as plea or continue. Need a bit more time to review. I'm sorry, sir.
March 3rd, 9 o'clock.
Thank you, Judge. That should be all under Flaherty. Moving on to the ones listed under Merrifield.
Go ahead.
The first one is Samson Graham in 24 CF 2660. First time up, there's a waiver on file. We have received discovery, but we are likely going to need to set depositions, so I am requesting the April 28th pretrial date. I don't believe there's an objection.
This is when we had some issues with witnesses showing up for depots, is that right?
No, sir.
No?
No, this is on Mr. Graham. The one that we had witness issues was Austin. That was previously continued, and we
That
have...
was already continued.
Yes, sir, and we have depositions pending in that case. So this is Samson Graham.
I only read half my notes on
That's
that.
okay.
Okay. That's the 28th?
Yes, please.
28th, 9 o'clock.
Then we have Kristen Roberts in 24 CF 1259, waiver on file. Like to leave her set for docket day, anticipate a resolution in that case as well.
Docket day is going to be March 3rd at 9 o'clock.
And then the last one, Judge, is Eileen Smith in 24 CF 2848, first time up, waiver on file. Quite extensive discovery in this case as well, and we're going to need to set depositions, so I'm requesting the next pretrial date, and I don't believe that there's an objection.
No objection.
All right, April 28th, 9 o'clock for Eileen Smith.
I believe that's all on my list.
Thank you, Ms. Warfield.
Thank you, Judge.
Is that too fast? You good? Okay. All right, Dustin Durrell. Mr. Durrell. There you are. I was looking for where you were seated.
May it please the court, Dustin Durrell. Your Honor, my first client today is Mr. James Kaufman, requesting a continuance from Mr. Kaufman, still getting some discovery.
First time up, we'll go April 28th.
And next is Mr. Dion Green, requesting a continuance for Mr. Green. We are setting depositions in this case. I believe I've been provided April dates. They haven't been set yet, but we've got the dates. We're just working out the times, Your Honor.
You have everything you need. I think there was a problem with videos last time. You've got everything.
We
you
have
need.
all the discovery now, Your Honor. Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. All right. Then we'll put that on the April 28th date so you can get those depositions done, 9 o'clock, April 28th.
Next is Mr. Matthew McLean, McLean. Your Honor, I have asked the state to reach out. This is the one where there was some issues with the deposition witnesses. I've asked the state to reach out to them, see if they can confirm they don't want to proceed. And in addition, we're working out some restitution numbers for a possible alternate resolution in this case, Your Honor. Would request a continuance to try and get that done. But this should be I imagine this will be the last continuance.
No objection, and it will be.
Thank you.
So April 28th at 9 o'clock for McLean.
And next, Your Honor, is Mr. Isaiah Sapp, requesting continuance for Mr. Sapp. Recently had FDLE come back. I have spoken to the state about a amended offer. I need to speak with him. There's also, I think, 1 or 2 videos I've not received. So trying to get the videos and potentially resolution next cycle based on the amended offer, Your Honor.
Okay. Looks like a brand-new case, first time up, April 28th, 9 o'clock.
And last, Your Honor, is Mr. Michael White, about the same as Mr. Green. I've got depositions scheduled for April, or rather, I've gotten April dates for depositions. We're still trying to work out the times and the exact date. But I do have all the discovery in Mr. White as well.
April 28th at 9 o'clock. Hopefully we can get those depots done and resolve our case. All right.
Sure. I believe that's all I have.
All right, thank you, Mr. Drew.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Riasti. Good morning, Your Honor. Morning. Looks like you're covering for Mr. Crawford as well?
Well, he has an inmate, Your Honor, so I've let him know that it'll be
It'll be
Wednesday.
Okay,
Yes,
you
sir.
reached out to my office early this morning, so I just wanted to make sure we've got that covered.
Yes, sir. Joseph Riossi for Marcellus Kelly McWilliams III, who's present before the court. And I'd like to leave this case set for docket day with subpoenas for a plea or trial.
Yep. Judge, we'll be ready for trial.
Mr. McWilliams, is that what you want to do today? Okay, you understand that you're charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon? Is that a second or third degree felony?
Third degree felony.
It's a third.
Degree, okay, so you understand if you go to trial and are found guilty, you can get up to 5 years in Department of Corrections. All right, just want to make sure, is there any offer that's gonna,
There is an offer, Your Honor, and I've made a counteroffer, and the state is reviewing the counteroffer, and we're ready for trial if it's not resolved.
likely, McWilliams, have you gone over the current plea offer from the state with Mr. Riosty?
Ye-
Yes, sir.
All right, just want to make sure that it's been conveyed and that you know what it is and you've made a counteroffer.
Yes.
All right, otherwise, we're going to set you for a trial. We're going to see you back on March 3rd at 9 a.m. for that docket day.
March 3rd at 9 a.m.
9 a.m., yes, sir.
You get the sheets of paper or not? Right.
All right, anything else for him?
That's all I have, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, sir. Next case. You have anything else, Mr. Riosty? No, Your Honor. Okay. All right. Mr. Charles Williams.
Morning, Your Honor.
Morning.
I have Sixto Rivera who's joining me here. And if you recall, Your Honor, I just got appointed on, I think about the 13th of January. I reviewed the discovery and decided I need to get an investigator. And
I think
then
I've signed that order.
you did. The process with JAC has taken about 2 weeks. So I just got him appointed last week. I've talked to Ms. Basso. I believe if we can give us the next court date, next pretrial date, that'll give us some time to initiate some conversations with the state and see where we can go.
This without objection, Your Honor. I did speak with Mr. Williams prior to court today and also indicated as he's going through discovery, since there's been several attorneys, to just let me know if there's anything that he feels like he doesn't know.
Okay. All right, Mr. Rivera, you understand that? Okay. I know Mr. Williams is new to your case, but this case is very, very old. So I expect next time around we're going to be setting it for trial or resolving it in some other way.
I understand.
It'll be April 28th at 9 o'clock.
And Your Honor, that's the only out-of-custody case I had on your docket.
Okay.
And I guess I'll see you Wednesday
We'll
for
see
the
you
other
on
three.
Wednesday. For the private lawyers who don't stick around, last pretrial we were here till about 7:30, which is why we've
Understand.
tried to split these days up, so we're not doing that again. So-
Gotcha.
And this is county-wide, so it's Judge Stone and Judge Clark are doing the same exact thing. That's why there's the memo that explains how we're doing that.
Good to know.
All right, thank you, Mr. Williams.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Ms. Dudley?
Wednesday.
Morning. Just trying to get to your
I think I
first
have
one.
2 out of custody. Latavius Brown and 24 CF 785. There's a waiver on file. You know, we have to reset the deposition of one of the officers, and based on one of the deposition, I need to go look at the evidence in this case. So I would ask for continue to the next pretrial.
No objection, Your Honor.
April 28th at 9, but this one's getting a little bit older, too.
Yes, sir.
It'll be a year old when we come back.
Yes, sir. I think the other one I have is Cameron Moffitt and 24 CF 2479. We can leave it set for docket day for a plea to PTI.
will be March 3rd
Yes, sir.
at 9 o'clock for docket day.
Your Honor, there is one defendant under the public defender for Mr. J. Williams. His name is Jeff Ledoux. 24 CF 2012 and 24 CF 1018. He is present in court. Your Honor, he is going to retain my office when I leave court this morning.
That
So-
was my note, that we continue
Yes,
to
sir.
use in a higher counsel.
We can get it continued to the next pretrial, and I'll get my notice filed this afternoon, or this morning, actually.
You plan on hiring Ms. Dudley this morning? Mr.
Yes, sir.
Ledoux? Okay. We'll put you on April 28th at 9 o'clock. And
Yes, sir.
then, hopefully y'all can make some good progress in the meantime.
Yes, sir, and I believe that's all I have this out of custody, if I'm correct.
I had one question real quick.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Dudley. Mr. Diaz, is he being transported?
I haven't seen the order yet. I want to have him leave him for docket day. He'll be on for Wednesday, I guess. He's incarcerated in Walton County. Walton County came and got him. They didn't do an order to bring him back.
Okay, but he was sentenced.
Yes, he was sentenced over there.
Just wanted to make sure.
Yes, sir.
And I think I asked him last time he was here. I thought I represented him in the past. I think maybe it was someone with the same
I'll
name.
ask him and-
Just make sure of
Yes, sir.
that in case there's any concerns about conflicts or anything like that.
Yes, sir, I will.
All right, thank you,
All
Ms.
right,
Dudley.
thank
We'll
you.
see you on Wednesday. All right, Mr. Rare. Morning, give me just a second to. Are they all under lapella?
They will be, Judge.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Under where?
All right, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. For the record, David Rare. The first case I've got is Jordan Polk, 24 CF 1936. I've got a plea in absentia to misdemeanors. Just for the record, count one will be dismissed. Count two will be a lesser to possession of marijuana less than 20 grams, if I could approach.
All right, is this state's agreement?
It is.
Okay. Calls for 11 months, 29 days probation with JCS.
And we'll send him the login codes today, or send her, excuse me.
So for the record, in 24 CF 1936, State of Florida versus Jordan Alyssa Polk, count one is to be dismissed. Is that right?
It is correct. That is correct, Judge. I do want to go back to, you said probation with JCS. It would still be supervised by Department of Corrections, even though it is a plea to a misdemeanor. Right? It is through JCS? Yes, it's through JCS. Okay. I'm sorry, I had a misunderstanding.
Okay. I think part of the issue is he resides in Alabama, so to not have to go through the compact, they can do it differently. JCS, right, Mr. Rare?
So JCS can do remote reporting, and that's what we're doing a lot of, just to give DOC less dealing with misdemeanors. If it's a misdemeanor plea, it's through JCS, and they can do it however their policy is called for.
Okay.
That's correct.
State's agreement then?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it calls for 11 months, 29 days probation with JCS, remote reporting since he resides in Alabama, $270 in court costs, complete a substance abuse evaluation within the first 90 days, and complete any recommended treatment. It's a no contest plea and calls for an adjudication of guilt. All right, anything else?
None on that case,
I've
Judge.
signed that. I'm turning it over to the clerk. Make sure you get her signed up for probation with JCS.
We'll get that taken care of, Judge.
All right.
The last case I should have on the docket is Luis Vasquez. That's 24 CF 2346. Speaking to the state, I'm going to be following up with them about a modified offer and discussion on that. I'd ask for a final continuance, and we'll have a resolution I expect in the next cycle.
No objection.
All right, April 28th at 9 o'clock
And that's all I have, Judge. Thank you.
for a self-induced last continuance. All right, Mr. Hardy.
Morning, Your Honor.
Morning.
My first case is Eric Culpepper. And Your Honor, I'm going to ask to leave Mr. Culpepper set on the docket day for a plea or continue. I think we're going to have a resolution.
resolution?
Continue.
Continuance. So plea or continue for Mr. Culpepper, March 3rd at 9 o'clock. All right, we'll see you back then on that date.
Your Honor, my other case is Vince Ramirez. I'm also going to ask to leave that set on docket day for a plea. We're waiting on some documents from a rehab he went to, and once we have those, we've got the plea worked out.
Accurate?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so plea for March 3rd, 9 o'clock.
Thank you, Your Honor. That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hearnen. All right, Stan Luke.
Morning, Judge. I have George Masterson. That's 24 CF 2149. Judge, I've discussed with Ms. Basso. We're requesting one more continuance. I think we're very close to a plea agreement in this case.
Okay. April 28th at 9 o'clock for a resolution. All right, we'll see you back on that date, April 28th, 9 o'clock.
Thank you, Judge.
Anything else, Mr. Luke?
Hey, thank you.
Okay. All right, did Mr. Cobb come back? I don't see him. Mr. Flowers, you're standing up. Flowers is here.
Your Honor, good morning. I'm looking on what is on my page 15, number 41, Zanaya Brown. I'm asking that matter be continued. I don't believe there's an objection, but I haven't asked.
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay. And I saw you just got on this case.
Recently, Your Honor.
So April 28th at 9 o'clock. You're on both cases, right?
I am, Your Honor.
There's a PTI recall and then the new.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
The next matter I have is Chansey. Now, I think the state would agree that needs to be continued. The state's reviewing a transcript even as we speak.
That's correct, Judge. May I approach?
Yes.
Judge, am I to understand April 28th is the correct date?
April 28th at 9 o'clock, and I'm calling that last continuance
Very well.
for both sides, absent some unforeseen circumstances.
Understood. The next matter we have is air card. The information I have is the state is, yeah, Mr. Aircard is, as always, present, Your Honor. Judge, we're asking for April 28th, asking the court to order that it's the last continuance. There's a deposition of the alleged victim. And there are a lot of interesting questions that need to be posed. That's, from our perspective, that's where we are.
Okay.
I agree that it should be continued at least one last time. I'm in the process of gathering evidence from the DCF case and the military investigation. And as the court is aware also, the case was moved here not that
Veterans
long
Court.
ago. I understand the case is old, but not for us, for this court.
Well, I understand, but the case has to be resolved. It stems from August of '23. I know it was vet court. Why did vet court end?
Judge Mason allowed Mr. Urquhart to withdraw his plea agreement because apparently he wasn't fit for the vet court. He didn't want to accept that.
Okay.
That's a pretty accurate assessment, Your Honor, without going into any details. That's procedurally what had happened.
Okay, and from my understanding, when he went into vet court, he pled to a misdemeanor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Have
That's
y'all
right.
figured out what exactly he's considered to be charged
He
with? at this
reluctantly
point?
pled to a misdemeanor that he didn't commit because it was in his best interest to do so. And not being in vet court, the state chose to now charge him with a felony.
Okay, so has that
That's
been?
where we are.
I just want to make sure that's cleaned up, because I think that was a question last time.
Yes, and for the record, there is no misdemeanor offer on the table at this time.
Is there any reason why we can't get this resolved next time?
No,
Oh, next cycle? No, no,
You said at least one time continuance.
no.
Okay, I just want to make sure there's nothing that we're concerned about that's not going to delay us next time. So I'm going to write it down as the last continuance as well.
very well. Thank you, Judge. Judge, the next matter I have is Tara Hurlbert. We're asking that this remain set on docket day to dispose of it on that occasion. And we believe that it will be.
All right, March 3rd at 9 o'clock. Did you not have Kyle Frazier?
I do. No, you're fine. No, you're
Ms.
fine.
Hurlbert? Okay, we'll see you back on March 3rd. Sounds like y'all may have a resolution. All right, thank you, ma'am.
And Judge, I do have Kyle Frazier. There's some discovery that needs to be done. We're asking for April 28th, and Judge, this likely won't be our first request. It's going to take a while to just.
Anything specific?
What specifically are we?
Yeah, we haven't been provided everything we believe that exists in discovery without going into detail. And I don't think it's the state attorney's fault at all, and I'm not blaming her.
Is it a video or something like that?
There's some medical evidence that we believe exists that we didn't get.
Okay.
No objection to the continuance, Judge, and I just asked
Oh,
Flowers to get with me
yeah.
off the record on that.
No, having known Ms. Turner, if she has it, she turns it over, and has always done so.
I think I've said it at least half a dozen times since I've taken over the division. I know how it works. A lot of
Yes, sir.
times, y'all are waiting on it. The number of depositions I've been in where there's suddenly reports that no one's seen, state attorney hasn't seen it. There's a supplemental, hasn't seen it. So I like to get those done ahead
Yes,
of
sir.
time, too, so you're not doing depositions twice as well.
Yes, sir.
So, no, I
You know I'm no
understand.
fan of depositions anyway, Your Honor. Having said that, I'll tell you what we don't have.
All right.
Judge,
Any objection to the continuance, Ms. Turner? All right, April 28th at 9 o'clock. It's still a relatively new case.
It is. Judge, the next case is William Johns. He has co-defendants. In fact, one of the co-defendants, Reynolds, counsel is here with us today. This is Ms. Sandler's case. Depots are scheduled in the co-defendant's case that we are participating in. They may be in the
John, is
state.
that under you, Mr. Flowers?
It's under Shaw,
That's
and
what
it's
I
a number
thought. I just-
94.
If you could give me a
But he and
second
I-
to flip it up. Go ahead.
We're asking that it be continued, and the co-defendants are going to be doing the same thing, Judge.
Is there anything we need to talk about? What else needs to be done? I know what this case is, but it's very, very old.
There are use of force experts. The state's gone through several to try to find the right one. There's cause of death experts. There's just a lot of things that have happened out of the state's control, quite frankly.
Okay. I understand. I just want to make sure that we're vectoring towards a resolution at some point.
Judge, it may be the resolution is really close.
Okay. All right. April 28th at 9 o'clock. Did we have, who else was involved with that, Mr. Flowers?
Reynolds, Attorney Stephen Webster, he may have stepped outside. He has other matters before your court today.
All right,
But he represents.
I'll just recall him.
He's out of Tallahassee, but he's present outside with a client right now. Regan Phillips, we're asking it remain on docket day. Judge, I understand it's a VOP evidentiary. However, there's an underlying misdemeanor. We can dispose of everything, we believe, next Monday in your court with your permission.
What's the date for Monday? I don't have mine. That's March 3rd. All right, March 3rd.
Yes, sir.
You think we're going to wrap up the misdemeanor with the plea here?
Every expectation to do just that. Judge, the final matter I have is Jonathan Roller. We're going to ask to leave it March 3rd also. There are co-defendants, one of which will be in front of you this morning. And based on that, we have every expectation we can dispose of this matter on March 3rd as well.
March 3rd at 9 o'clock for Mr. Roller as well.
Yes, sir. Judge, that's all I have. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Kelvin Wise, can we approach on that, please, Judge?
Sure.
Alex Barthay from the UPS store once again, and I wanted to let you know about our Sunday hours. We're open now 7 days a week. Normal hours that you've been expecting, but now we're open Saturday 10 to 4, Sunday 10 to 3, and that's both our Crestview, Fort Walton Beach, and Eglin Air Force Base locations. So you have things to do, go and do it. Just know the UPS store is going to be here. Again, Sundays 10 until 3 p.m.
For years, I proudly served Florida as a state trooper. During that time, I investigated over 1,000 car, motorcycle, and trucking crashes. My mission was simple, to help the victims. Now, as an injury attorney, I can do even more to help accident victims. Hi, I'm attorney Coy Browning. If you've been injured in a car accident, I'd be honored to help you. Call or visit us at browninglawfirm.com.
All right, so Kelvin Wise, which is 24 CF 1362, is going to be April 28th at 9.
Thank you, Judge.
I think that's all you've got. Okay. All right. I'm not sure who else was here first. Mr. Dyram, if you hold up a plea, you're probably more likely to get called.
Your Honor, I have Mr. Hearnen on the docket, 24 CF 381.
Can I have you go to this one, Mr. Dyram,
apologize.
just so I can see the state if it's...
Your Honor, I have an executed plea agreement. May I approach?
Yes, sir. Mr. Hearnen, can you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Sir.
All right. Can you state your name and date of birth, please?
Jesse Dane Hearnen, 8/16/69.
Is that microphone on?
Jesse Dane
There it
Hearnen,
goes.
8/16/69.
All right. I could kind of hear you, but if it's questionable, I may want to make sure the record's getting you. All right. I've been handed the plea in the 381 case for failure to register a vehicle as an SO. Calls for adjudication of guilt, court costs, and time served. Is that what you want to do today?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Barry, is there anything? No, you just kind of had a look. I want to make sure I didn't miss something. All right. Have you had enough time to go over this plea agreement with Mr. Dyram?
Yes, sir.
And did he answer all of your questions?
Yes, sir.
Are you satisfied with his advice and representation in this case?
Yes, sir.
Are you under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, or controlled substances?
No, sir.
All right. And do you have any prior mental health diagnoses?
No, sir.
Do you understand that if you enter this plea, there won't be a trial of any kind?
Yes, sir.
You'd be giving up all your trial rights that are listed here in this plea agreement?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions about those? All right. Has anyone forced, pressured, or threatened you in any way to enter this plea?
No, sir.
Anyone promise you anything in return for this plea?
No, sir.
Is there a factual basis for the plea?
Stipulate, Judge.
Okay, and it looks like the state and defense both say in this plea agreement they're unaware of any physical evidence for which DNA testing may exonerate. Does the state agree with that?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Dyram, too. All right, Mr. Herndon, what is your plea?
No contest.
All right, I'll accept your no contest plea as freely, voluntarily, knowingly given. Adjudicate you guilty. $615 in court costs and credit for time served. How much time do you need to pay the costs?
90 days.
All right, 90 days to go and talk to the clerk about it. They may give you a payment plan if you need it.
Yes,
but
sir.
make sure you do something within 90 days about setting that up.
Yes, sir.
All right, and is this a guideline sentence?
Downward departure, Judge.
Okay, agreed upon downward departure based on coerced plea bargain, correct?
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good day, Judge.
All right, thank you. Stand over, oh, sir, I need you fingerprinted. You have 30 days to appeal. All right, Mr. Catalinic, you ready?
Good morning, Your Honor. I have two cases on the docket today.
Go ahead.
Stephen John Harrell, Harrell. Case number 24, CF 2421. Your Honor, we're asking for continuance. This is the first time that I don't know if it's been on the docket before, but it seems like it's in
It's just from October.
October.
All right. So it'll be April 28th at 9 o'clock, Mr. Catalinic.
Thank you, Judge.
Is there a waiver on file for him?
Judge, I believe so.
Okay, if not, make sure there is for
Yes, sir.
for April.
Yes, sir.
All right, perfect.
I'll get one.
I assume there are, but you just didn't say it, so I got to ask if you don't say it.
Yes, sir. The next case that I have, Your Honor, if I may, is Tamika Hilliard.
Okay.
I filed a waiver on that one, yes, sir. Your Honor, we're asking for April 28th. We have depositions with the victim on April 1st at 9 a.m.
Did you already do some depositions back in December?
Judge, we just had to coordinate the deposition of the child.
Okay. All right, April 28th at 9 o'clock. Is that deposition set?
It's set, Judge.
What, do you know the date by it?
Yes, sir. It's at April 1st at 9 a.m.
Perfect. All right, we'll see you back on April 28th.
Thank you, sir. That's all I have.
All right, have a good day. All right, Ms. Reed. Are you here for Mr. Cotton?
Yes, Judge.
Okay.
Good morning, Judge. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I am filling in for Mr. Cotton this morning. He has 3 cases on the court's docket. The first case I have is State of Florida versus Alex Kalsombat. That's Kaosombat. There is a waiver on file. Your Honor, I believe that Mr. Cotton and the prosecutor are trying to schedule depositions. I think that we're just waiting on some deposition availability date. I think that's Ms. Turner's case. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And
I
so
just
we're
think we
just,
talked about this last time too, that we continued last time for depositions. So are they set? Have dates been given?
I would have to pull the file and check, Judge.
Okay.
My understanding is if they haven't been given, they're being.
It's not a terribly old case, but I just don't see that depositions have been set since we were here 2 months ago and they said they're going to be set. So I don't have an issue with it, giving you the continuance. I just want
Right.
to make sure the stuff is done.
would the court like to at least leave it on for status? And then if the depositions are set, they can,
I'm fine just putting it on the April 28th. I just want to make sure the depots get set.
I will relay to Mr. Cotton as well.
I know there's been a lot of kind of movement in the division, so everyone's kind of catching up to speed, but I just want to make sure we're getting cases done in a timely fashion.
Right,
All right.
understood, Judge. And what was that, your next pretrial date?
That's April 28th at 9 o'clock.
Okay, April 28th. And obviously, there was a waiver on file, Judge. Okay, moving on. Mr. Cotton has Michael Paycheck, and that's Pechacek.
It's 24 CF 1485 and 1486.
Yes, Your Honor, and waivers have been filed in both of those cases. The first case, Your Honor, in 24 CF 1485, Mr. Cotton filed a motion to discharge back on February 14th. That has not been set for a hearing yet, so I'd like to get that set for a hearing if we could. I think it's got to be set within 5 or 10 days after the motion's filed, because
Well, I don't think it's a notice of expiration, it's a motion for discharge. So I don't think there's that timely issue, is there? We don't get very many of those. So
Yeah, so,
all right.
and if we could, I mean, Judge, the way Mr. Cotton and I are interpreting the motion for discharge is because obviously the information was never filed for a period of time.
I don't think there's a recapture period on discharge.
That would be
It's
correct,
just-
Judge.
It's just, that's why there's not a time
Right.
constraint. I could be wrong, and that's why I'm asking if I am, but.
Yeah. Could we go, does the court have its dockets up for any miscellaneous dates so we can go ahead and just get that motion for discharge filed, or, I'm sorry, set for hearing?
I don't think I have anything until March 27th. I just don't know what's there yet. Let's see. I don't think that spring break's not till the 17th.
Mr. Cotton's calendar, or were we looking at?
I don't think it'll be a lengthy motion or hearing, will it? Can we say do the March 6th at 2 o'clock? I've got 2 others set at that time, but yours should be pretty quick.
Okay, well, if I could just have just one moment, I'm looking at Mr. Cotton's calendar. That was March 6th, Your Honor?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's next Thursday at 2 o'clock.
Next Thursday at 2 p.m.? Okay. So that's 3, 6.
And obviously, if y'all have any statutory authority or case law you want me to take a look at, just send it to my office ahead of time.
Okay, with the court, what's the deadline for that, Judge? Would you like at least 5 p.m. day prior? Or
I would like at least another day before that, just
Understood.
because I don't know what my day prior looks like, and
Okay, so any
I've got enough
statutory?
days at 10, 11 o'clock reading case law, but.
Yeah.
But, so if I get a day, at least a couple days in advance.
Okay, I'll say about the March 3rd or March 4th as deadline, okay.
Okay.
That'll be that Tuesday, Monday and Tuesday.
Yes.
Okay, for statutory authority. Okay. And then moving on, Judge, into 24 CF 1486, waiver has been filed. Judge, we did have depositions scheduled in this case for March 4th. However, I believe Ms. Basso has a scheduling conflict that's arose, so we're having to reset those depositions.
They actually were never scheduled. Placeholder, they never filed a notice on it, but we are working actively.
Well, we'll file for the 4th if you're available. Okay, so,
All right, so why don't we just leave everything for March 6th, and we'll address it at that point, that way we know
okay,
what
to
we're
see if the
doing.
depositions have been filed, that would be
I would like
great,
to
so
know
we can
that.
get something done. Okay, so 3-6 for status, Judge, on the deposition date?
Yes.
Okay.
Anything else, Ms. Reed?
No, that is all I have. May I be excused, Judge?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, and Ms. Gooden, I think you were down the line.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Morning.
I am covering for Russ Ramey and for myself, if I may do.
Let's
Mr.
do yours first, just because I flipped to that page.
Wesley Bertrand.
Yes.
I would like to set it on the final plea day. We're anticipating trial unless I can bully the state into something that we
Okay,
can
so you
live
want to set
with.
it for trial?
We are setting it for trial.
Okay, well,
It's my understanding it was going to trial.
I've got it as on January 6th, that's what y'all announced.
Right.
I just, when you say I want to put on a final plea day, it sounds, I know Santa Rosa and Escambia and every judge therewith all calls things different.
Right.
I just want to make sure that we're on the same page.
Well, I know it's old, so, I mean, if we have to be bumped for something else, it's fine, but, you know.
Yeah, we'll see. You're only the second one so far, but it's early. All right, so Bertrand, which is 23 CF.
I'm still working on the state, Your Honor.
Okay, but I'm setting it for trial because
Yes,
it is
sir.
very old, and that's what was announced. In fact, I think it was
Yes,
announced that it was
sir.
going to be resolved at the last one, so.
Well, we had a snag.
I understand.
I'm still working on them.
I'm not fussing on anybody. I
Yes,
just want to
Your
make
Honor.
sure that we know this case is going to be resolved. All right, so we're going to put you on the March 3rd date, unless you feel you just want to go straight to the jury review, which is that
No, let's leave it on the 3rd. My client's intending to be here.
Okay.
That way, if something happens, we can resolve it.
I made
And
an
there
amended
is-
offer this morning that, and the state would ask that it be set for docket day so that the defendant can be relayed that offer.
He will be.
He'll be here on the 3rd, you said.
He will be
All
here
right.
on the 3rd.
He'll be here on the 3rd. All right, so we'll put that on the 3rd, and then the week of the 10th or 17th are my 2 trial weeks. I'm not sure where we're going to end up.
Yes, Your
I know
Honor.
I've got one potentially long one for sure, so we'll see where things end up.
Mine's not long, I'm just long-winded.
Well, I'd appreciate it if you could work on that then, time being. I
The-
suffered from that as a lawyer as well.
The ones for Mr. Ramey,
Okay, give me 1 second. All right, go ahead.
Andrew De La Rosa,
He's
24.
an inmate. We do inmates on Wednesdays.
Okay,
So maybe Mr. Ramey can cover those on Wednesday, or
well, he
we had to
was,
split it up. We were here till 7:30, the last pretrial
Okay.
conference, so.
Andrew Fox, 24 CF 1596. They have depositions set for July 1st, so he's asking for a
July
continuance.
1st?
That's the,
Judge, we went back and forth with her office, giving dates about 6 times.
All right. We want to put this off 2 cycles, otherwise we're just going to come back and talk about July 1st again.
2 cycles, Your Honor.
Well, it's still June, but I'm going to put it on June 23rd at 9 just to make sure that we're still lined up. So
Yes, Your Honor.
6/23 at 9 o'clock. What about
Then
Jordan Fisher? Did you have
Jordan
that one?
Fisher, they have depositions set July 1st as well.
I must be very busy between now and then, Ms. Barrickman.
We went back and forth about 6 times over email swapping dates, Judge.
Okay. All right, we'll put that one on June 23rd as well, just to keep an eye on it.
The next one he has is Anthony Miles.
Okay.
7, depots are
Wednesday,
the
that's-
17th.
He's an inmate, so we'll talk about that. I
Okay.
think you just had depositions, is that right, Ms. Basso?
He has bilateral pneumonia.
Oh, okay.
On the 2 inmates, because they have depositions scheduled July 1st, would you prefer a motion to continue?
You can
stipulated?
file a motion to continue for Wednesday, but I'm going to need to know that the defendants have been talked to
Yes, Your Honor.
and they agree to the continuance.
Yes, Your Honor.
To be honest, I'm not naming names at this point, but I've seen plenty of motions that have come through, and then the next time the defendant comes in from jail, say, I haven't spoken with my lawyer in 6 months. I'm not saying that about anybody, especially not Mr. Ramey at this point, but I'm just saying that I've
Yes,
got
Your
to know
Honor.
that defendants have been talked to about continuances before they're asked for. That's on Miles. So we'll keep Miles on for now. But if you file a motion, if Mr. Ramey files a motion to continue, I'm not sure if there's an objection.
Yes, Your Honor. And they're set for Wednesday?
Wednesday at 9 o'clock.
Okay. That's all I have.
All
Thank
right.
you, Your Honor.
All right, we're just going to call one out of order. Go ahead.
Thank you. This is Ashley Woody, 24 CF 2724. We'd like to leave this set for docket day for plea or trial, just only to get it resolved. I believe it's going to be a plea. I just need to, but so that we get it resolved, go ahead and set it for plea or trial.
A plea trial. All right, March 3rd at 9 a.m., plea or trial.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you for doing that.
All right. I'm going to say Mr. Powell, and whoever gets up here faster can. I don't think he heard me, Gil.
I got Keith Golden. 21 CF 25, 22, and 24 CF 2730. I got a plea, Judge.
Just a second. All right, so Keith Golden.
We got it.
Good, how are you? So Mr. Powell, it says supervision will be modified to 6 months community control, and then he'll go back on regular probation to finish out what he had.
That's what he's got.
Okay. All right, Keith Anthony Golden Jr., 21 CF 2522, which is the violation of probation, and then 24 CF 2739. Mr. Golden, can you raise your right hand to be sworn? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
All right, can you state your name and date of birth, please?
Keith Golden, 39 years old.
Okay. All right, this calls for you to admit to the violation of probation. You'll be adjudicated guilty. Supervision will be modified for the next 6 months to be on community control, and then you'll finish out your probation, $100 court costs, and then complete the original requirements of your probation, obviously with credit for whatever you've done. And then the new case will be dismissed by the state. Is that the state's agreement? Okay. You understand that, Mr. Golden? You're going to have a GPS as part of, is that just the next 6 months? Okay. It was an original term. Okay. I'm just including GPS next to the complete original requirements. All right, Mr. Golden, have you gone over this plea and sentencing agreement with Mr. Powell, your lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Has he answered all of your questions about it? Did you understand it? Are you satisfied with his advice and representation? All right. Are you under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, or controlled substances? All right. Any mental health diagnosis in the past?
Sir.
All right. Has anyone forced, pressured, or threatened you in any way? Anyone promise you anything in return for your admission to the VOP?
Sir.
Say again.
No, sir.
Okay. All right, and what is your plea? Are you admitting or denying that you violated your probation?
Meaning?
I'm going to accept Mr. Golden's admission as freely, voluntarily known and given. In 21 CF 2522 would be adjudication of guilt. Again, supervision will be modified for the next 6 months to be on community control, $100 court costs or VOP fee. Complete the original requirements of your probation, including the GPS monitor. And then in 24 CF 2739, does state have an announcement? Is this a guideline sentence? I haven't received any guidelines. Okay. Okay, thank you. All right, you have 30 days to appeal, Mr. Golden. Make sure you speak with probation, and we'll also need your fingerprints.
Judge, for the record,
Mr. Golden had a Facebook account. He cannot get it off. It's the same charge he had before, but he doesn't know how to get it off. He doesn't have the password. He has some
I'm
mental
sorry, on
issues.
what, he doesn't have a password?
He cannot get the Facebook off his account. He doesn't know how to get it off, so I'm gonna help him with it. That's the problem. He's never used it. He just can't get it off.
Are you the Facebook expert, Mr. Powell?
I don't, but I'm gonna get somebody.
Okay.
I'm gonna get somebody for him.
Probably need, a teenager to help you out with that, Mr. Powell.
I'm gonna get him somebody.
All right, Mr. Barry, did you need something?
Your Honor, previously, I think its supervision fees were waived. We request they remain waived and GPS set at $1 a day.
All right, GPS will be $1 a day, waive supervision fees per probation's request.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. Mr. Cobb?
Judge, I got.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Powell, you have another one?
I have two more, Judge.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sorry. Bo has a case. He's co-counsel, but it's Tanya Carter is really the lawyer.
Okay.
The client is Justin Busby, 23 CF 2415.
All right, is Mr. Busby here, or?
He's a waiver judge.
Okay. And I think there was a written motion to continue, but I kind of wanted to address what we're doing with the case. It's about 16 months old already.
There's they got to have depositions in Mississippi. They've had some problems. They had them set up at the state attorney in Mississippi, and evidently the air conditioning system was out. They had to cancel them. They're trying to get them reset. They're set again for April the 9th.
It's February.
I know, but
I know it's hot in Mississippi sometimes, but I didn't think it was
Couldn't
February.
get them set, but it's April 9th set again, and there's been a problem with that.
Okay. Whose
And
case is
we'd
this?
like to continue it.
My case, the reason we have objected to just doing a continuance in advance is because we had not heard from either of co-counsels since the last court date, and we do know that they wanted to get some depositions done. They had canceled the last set, and so we're trying to get those done in Mississippi, and there's only one here. The one here is set for the 9th of April, and they were just inquiring this morning as to some dates in Mississippi. We're looking at the 3rd of April. I'm hopeful that they'll be able to do that date. He also has charges in Mississippi.
Okay. Why don't we do this? Let's keep it on for March 3rd at 9 o'clock. If the depositions in Mississippi are set, I'll be fine to continue it if I get an amended motion to continue explaining that. Otherwise, Mr. Bo or his co-counsel, I just say Bo because there's 3 Mr. Powells involved, or in court or being talked about at the present moment, or Ms. Carter will have to come in and explain what's going on with the case. I understand there's other states involved, but we're 16 months in at this point.
I think they're set for April 9th, what I got on my notes. But
I think that's for the local one is what Ms. Basso said.
It's the local officer. Like I said, there was charges here and in Mississippi. We're not doing joint depots. Not worried about that. They've been very helpful over there.
Okay. All right. So I think it's just setting the Mississippi depositions.
Right.
So it looks like a date of April 3rd was given out, but it hasn't been confirmed yet. So
Okay.
make sure.
March 3rd then.
Yes, March 3rd, just to tell me what's going on. Again, amended motion to continue if it's all set and everyone's ready to go.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, Judge.
Thank you.
I got one more. Chris Garrett's, the client is Helen Sexton, 24 CF 1835. Depositions on March 31st. I don't think there's an objection to continuance from the state.
No objection.
All right. You said the depots are set on what date?
March 31st.
Maybe tell Mr. Garrett, make sure there's a notice for those, because I check those things.
Oh, I know you do.
Because my note is I don't see any depots were set, and that's why we continued it last time. So,
Just nailed that date down, I think, last week.
I know, but it was talked about in December. That's why I'm bringing it up.
Yes, Judge.
Okay. All right, so we'll put that for, you want the April 28th date?
That's good.
All right, April 28th at 9 o'clock. It's not an old case, so I'm not going to fuss too much. But when we say we're setting depositions and 2 months later they get set the day before, I just want to make sure that we're using our time wisely. It's been 8 weeks.
I understand, Judge.
Anything else, Mr. Powell?
That's all I got. Thanks, Judge. Good
All
to
right,
see you.
Mr. Cobb, did you have something?
Monty Ward.
Judge, this is Lonnie Ray Ward, 2024 CF 2269. We have depositions scheduled on March 28th. Yes, sir. So I'll be asking for continuance to the next pretrial in that cycle that would follow.
No objection.
All right. April 28th at 9 o'clock for your next pretrial. See you back on that date.
Yes, sir. Sir. See you
So I
later.
don't have to be here tomorrow, Wednesday?
No, you do not, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. And then I believe Angela Sword is out of custody. Ms. Sword? Judge Jason Cobb on behalf of Ms. Sword, 2024 CF 2494. Sword. Sword.
No, Ward and Sword.
So Ward.
It's an S word.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Judge, I was just recently appointed to represent Ms. Sword, and I was going to be asking for a continuance to that next date.
There's no objection to a continuance.
I'm just not seeing her case under your name. That's what I'm trying to find.
It must still be under maybe the public defender's office.
Okay.
Possibly.
It's under Mr. Cobb on benchmark.
It's just not on our docket.
Just so I can make sure to mark it off when we get to that point of the docket. All right, so Ms. Sword, you just got on the case, Mr. Cobb.
Yes, sir, I
so
did.
April 28th at 9 o'clock.
Mm-hmm. All right, Judge, those are the two I have. I guess I'll see you on Wednesday for the inmates.
Inmates, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
We'll see how things go, but we're always going to keep adjusting as we figure it out, but otherwise we're shuffling inmates to have them sit there for hours and hours and hours, so. All right, thank you, Mr. Cobb. All right, I think Dixie was here next. I'm trying to keep an idea on it, but once I run out of names on the list, it's a little random. Go ahead, Mr.
Trouble getting on that list, I think.
Well, you should talk to whoever writes in the all black block letters. So
That's
so
all right.
They've got about half the names written on here. So.
Yes, sir. Dixie Dan Powell on behalf of Devin Jones, Your Honor, 4624 CF 2271A is a, wait a minute, that's not the,
Devin Jones.
Devin Jones.
Okay.
We have a further prosecution agreement,
Okay.
so we'll get that worked out.
Right, it would be a plea to two misdemeanors. The
Correct.
state would dismiss the other 2 counts, and he would do a 12-month pretrial intervention contract period.
Has it been signed?
I don't believe so.
I just got it today.
Okay. So you want to just set it for March 3rd and see if we can get that done?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'll get it done today.
All right, March 3rd at 9 o'clock for plea to PTI. Or you said DPA, I guess.
It's PTI.
PTI, I think it is.
All right, we'll see you back on the
Thank you,
3rd.
Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Powell. All right, Mr. Nopes.
Judge, the first case I've got is Mr. Barnhill, Andrew Barnhill. Judge, he's present on 23 CF 1308. The victim contacted my office 2, 3, 4 weeks ago. We told them they needed to call the state attorney's office, but it's my understanding that she lives out of state and she doesn't wish to pursue.
Leonie, is that your case?
It is.
Have you talked to the alleged victim in the case?
On one of the cases, I can review the notes. I don't know it top of my head.
It's probably the 23 CF 1308.
The case is from June of 23. All right, what about the other case, Mr. Nopes?
Judge, that's 24 CF 496. I was just going to say that if the state could, I don't know where the victim is. If we could approach, actually, I'll tell you what the deal is.
I'm Wanda Roberts. For the last 20 years, I've been helping the residents of Northwest Florida buy and sell their properties. My office is just 1 block south of the courthouse in historic downtown Crestview. Give us a call at 850-398-5389.
Hi, I'm Michael Gilbert, defense attorney with Warrior Law. I represent those accused in Santa Rosa, Okaloosa, and Walton County. If you or anyone you know has been accused of a crime, give us a call. We can help.
Hello, this is Chris Norman at Bulldog Bail Bonds. Our office is in Crestview, Florida, but we service 7 Northwest Florida counties. If you ever find yourself in a jam, please give us a call.
Both Barnhill
We're here
cases
to
will be
help you
March
out.
3rd at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, you need to set it, you actually need to call my office and set an appointment. Okay, all right, very good. That's docket day, right, Judge?
Yes, sir.
Judge, I then have Brian Scott Boyd. Judge, he retained me on February 5th, and so I'm asking for a continuance.
No objection. The state's offers, we could dismiss count 1, plea to count 2, which is misdemeanor possession of marijuana. He's interested, so we could, if you're interested in doing that, no objection to the continuance, but we could bring him back next week if you want to convey that to him.
Let's put it on.
Bring it back for the 3rd?
Yes.
All right. Let's put them on March 3rd at 9 o'clock for a possible plea once you've conveyed that.
Judge, then I have Madison Chancey, 23 CF 427. Mr. Flowers has the co-defendant Seth Chancey, I believe.
We've already discussed it and we've continued it, which I've called the last continuance.
Okay.
Is that what you want to do?
Judge, I do, yeah, probably. I mean, I will tell you this. I told my client that they needed to come up with the money to hire their witnesses that they had in their dependency case, and they're working on that, but I haven't got a confirmation yet. But I know that the state had attempted to schedule those.
I think what we talked about is that everyone has the transcript from the other trial.
Absolutely.
Who's now reading it, and they'll make decisions based on that.
Okay. So what is the continuous date?
April 28th, 9 o'clock.
Okay. Judge, then I have Bradley Geisey, Giese, 24 CF 2875. Judge, I was retained on January 30th. I was going to ask for a continuance.
It's a brand new case.
No objection.
All right. April 28th, 9 o'clock.
Judge, I also have Bonnie Sue Hahn, 23 CF 1636. Judge, we've got a plea, if I may approach. So, Your Honor, she's going to plead no contest. Counts 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the state's going to no pros 5 through 28. The understanding is she'd be adjudicated guilty, have 3 years probation, with the following special conditions of $515 in court cost, no care of any animals while on probation. She'd consent to random animal welfare checking in at the house or the residence, court-appointed legal assistance fee of $150, and 50 hours community service work. We would ask the court to consider waiving the cost of supervision.
That's the state's agreement?
It is.
All right. Ms. Hahn, can you raise your right hand and be sworn? Thank you. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? All right. State your name and date of birth, please.
Bonnie Hahn, 5/31/78.
Okay. It's not a trick question. So, all right, Ms. Hahn, you're here on what appears to be currently 28 counts of animal cruelty. Do you understand that?
It was, Judge, it was 14 counts were filed on.
Why does it say you have 5 through 28?
Well, Judge, when I looked at the clerk's website, I didn't look at the information, but I did, clerk's website said there was 28 separate counts. So.
Okay, so there were only 14 were filed.
Correct.
So I want to make sure that's clear then. Ms. Hahn, do you understand that the maximum penalty for each of those 14 counts was 5 years in state prison? All right. Plea and sentencing agreement I've been given is adjudicate you guilty, 3 years probation with the following conditions, which your lawyer just said, but I've got to say them too. $515 in court costs, $100 cost of prosecution. It says no care of any animals. I want to make sure we're unambiguous about what that means. You're not to be in the custody or possession of any animals. Do you understand that? Do you understand that?
Yes.
You'd be consenting to random animal welfare checking at your residence during the course of your probation, $150 court-appointed legal assistance fee, and then 50 hours of community service work. Have y'all talked about where that should be or shouldn't be?
We have not discussed that. The state, the state doesn't have any objection to that being, I guess the state wants to leave discretion if she wants to see if she can do that at an animal care clinic. It would be
I would go the other way.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think.
So I know a lot of people do their community service at PAWS or animal shelters. For me to accept this plea, I'm going to make sure that everyone's under the impression and understanding that I'm ordering that you not do that. I don't understand why I would say no possession of animals and then let you go do things at an animal shelter.
Well, then there'd be a lot of possible tension, so.
Yeah.
I understand.
I agree with that too, Mr. Nopes. You understand that, Ms. Hahn? Does that change your opinion as to whether or not you want to go forward with this plea and sentencing agreement? All right. Have you gone over this agreement with your attorney, Mr. Nopes? Did you understand it? Did he answer any questions if you had any? Are you satisfied with his advice and representation?
Yes.
Are you under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, or controlled substances? Any mental health issues or concerns? Any diagnosis?
That I know of.
Nothing. Do you know if you've been diagnosed with a mental health issue? No, you don't know, or you haven't been?
Haven't been.
I just want to make sure that we're clear. All right. Has anyone forced, pressured, or threatened you in any way to enter this plea? Has anyone promised you anything in regards to this plea other than what's in the agreement that we talked about? You understand by entering a plea to the 4 counts, there won't be a trial of any kind on this case. And you're giving up all your trial rights, which are spelled out here. All right. Do you agree there's a factual basis for this plea? Mr. Nopes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Is there any physical evidence for which DNA may exonerate her, Mr. Nopes?
That I'm aware of.
State?
No, sir.
All right. Do you understand you're waiving any potential defenses that you may have to these charges? All right. And what is your plea?
No contest.
No contest.
I'm going to accept your no contest plea as freely, voluntarily, knowingly given. Adjudicate you guilty on counts 1 through 4. State's announcements on 5 through 14.
Null pros, Judge.
Okay. It's my understanding that even with those null pros entered on those other counts, that she still scores.
She scored it. This is technically a guideline sentence. It's 40, I believe, 44.2 points, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, sir.
So that gives her a 12.1 month prison sentence.
Yeah. Then it would be technically a departure, Judge.
All right. All right. It's a downward departure of, based on 0.2 points being over. based on an uncoerced plea bargain. To finish announcing the sentence, I've said it before, but not as far as a pronouncement. 515 court costs, including the $100 cost of prosecution. No custody or possession of any animals during the course of your probation. Consent to random animal welfare checks during at your residence during the course of your probation. $150 court-appointed legal assistance fee. 50 hours of community service not to be done regarding any or concerning any animals. Ms. Hahn, you have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, and to be fingerprinted, and you need to talk to probation before you do that. All right, next case, Mr. Nobes.
Judge, the next out of custody I've got is Christopher McCoy. Judge, we are attempting to schedule depositions. We're going to ask to continue it.
Looks like it's a new case. Any objection?
No.
All right. April 28th at 9 o'clock.
Judge, the next case I have is Clifford Richardson, 24 CF 2764. Judge, I got appointed January 14th. Judge, there is an offer that come in that I'd like to just pass this for a few minutes. We might be able to resolve it.
We'll just call it back up.
Judge, then I have J.C. Rycroft.
I believe the victim is a minor who's in custody at the jail, and you wanted to speak to the victim. We were going to make arrangements to go do that, but we haven't done that yet. We have talked to the guardian. There's no change from the state's perspective.
Pass it for a few minutes because I was going to tell him based on what they found out and what they said, it might change our position. So just sit down and wait.
Recall you, Mr. Rycroft.
That's all of the out of custody I've got, Judge. If I could just talk with these others just a few minutes.
Tell me when you're ready.
Yes, sir.
Is Mr. Keach still here? You keep hiding behind court security. I can't see you.
We have one by Zoom.
And I'm going to bring her up.
You are in the meeting now.
All right. Are the gullies on Zoom?
Yes.
All right. Is your son here, Miss Gully? Is your son there?
Yes, he's right here.
Okay. I just need to be able to see him. All right. Go ahead, Mr. Keach. Announce the case, please.
Your Honor, we're here in 24 CF 84, 24 CF 85. And as the court, I believe, is aware, we were here last December 30th, left and asked to have the case set for trial. So that's my position, is that it be left set on the trial docket.
Leone?
Your Honor, I'm in the process of filing a Williams Rule notice. Should be filed today, if it hasn't been filed yet.
All right. Hold on a second. Y'all got to keep it down in the galley. Way too loud. Go ahead, Miss
One of the victims in one of the cases is actually incarcerated here at the Okaloosa County Jail. That's Mr. Whittington. And I'm gonna need the time to go to his, to the jail to speak with him and find out.
But his cases are a year old. Mr. Whittington's cases are a year old. I mean, these cases need to get resolved.
Yes, sir.
So, any reason why we shouldn't set it for trial today?
No, we can set it.
Okay.
We can set it.
I'm familiar with what the cases are, but I'm not sure what the difference between the two different case numbers. Is there one that you want to try first?
State's leisure.
Yeah.
It's gonna depend. I can inform the court on docket day because in one of the cases, I need to bring in witnesses from Utah, law enforcement officers from Utah.
Okay.
So that may require a little bit of extra coordination. But the one with Mr. Whittington as a victim, that could be more doable.
I'm not sure which one's which.
Well, I'm asking Your Honor to set both cases for docket day, and on docket day, I will inform of which one the state wants to go forward with.
Any issue?
Do we have don't we have 2 weeks for trial?
We have 2 weeks.
You want to set one week and one the next week?
Let's talk about it on docket day just to see how many I've got set. I'm expecting a good number of trials potentially, and especially one that's going to be lengthy.
Sir.
So that way I have an idea on if I'm going to have to get any help as far as some senior judge coverage or other judge coverage for any extra cases that are set for trial. So let's talk about it on docket day, if that's all right with you, Mr. Keach and Ms. Simeone. That way we can try to schedule them if we can. I just don't know if I'm going to personally have the time to do both of his. And I don't think it should be a situation where one judge does one of his trials and one does another. Obviously, that's going to cause us all sorts of problems. So let's talk about it more on docket day, but it's certainly a possibility if we can get someone to cover both, because I think it all depends on how again, I don't want to assume what's going to happen with other cases, but I expect to have a pretty lengthy trial one of the weeks.
Okay. And just for record-keeping purposes, the court did permit the family to appear via Zoom today due to the mother's labor issues. Would the court permit the same for March 3rd, since they are in Texas?
Well, but then we've got the 6th, right? Is the Thursday or Friday? What is the kind of the jury review date? March 7th. So they'd have to be here for the 7th. I'm fine for the 3rd, appearing by Zoom, but they'll have to be here for Friday the 7th.
Yes, sir.
Go into trial.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Everybody on the same page?
Yes, sir.
All right.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Ms. Gully.
I'm getting induced tonight at 7, so I would have to travel with a newborn infant on the 7th.
Well, I'll let you talk to Mr. Keach about that, but I don't want you to have to get any more into the details of your medical concerns, Ms. Gully. I'll just have you talk to Mr. Keach, and we'll see what happens at that point.
I also wanted to mention to the court that my intention is to subpoena Miss
Gully.
the mom
Okay.
as a witness, so she would have to be here.
Are you going to subpoena his probation officer that's been reaching out to?
Probation officer.
Proving that Cameron was in the state of Arkansas, because no one has responded back to her
All
yet.
right, ma'am, we're not going to do that in an open courtroom right now. If you need to talk to your lawyer about those things, I'm not sure what probation officer he has because he's not on probation here, right?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Well, I'll let y'all talk about it and subpoena an out-of-state witness, and we'll just talk about it more on the 3rd.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Judge, that's all I have. May I be excused?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And thank you for allowing them to appear by Zoom.
Okay. Ms. Gully, y'all can appear by Zoom on the 3rd, and we'll see what happens at that point.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Mr. Switek?
Morning, Your Honor.
Should have called Mr. Kilpatrick. He's closer in the alphabet on there.
Yeah,
You'll be next, sir.
I've got seniority, though. Your Honor, I've got Luis Lopez,
Okay.
22 CF 1418. We're kind of ready for trial on Mr. Lopez, except I have to get an out-of-state witness from South Carolina, and South Carolina advises that their process will take about a month.
Okay.
If we can get a date for the next cycle of a trial date, so I can advise South Carolina.
The trial weeks would be the weeks of May 12th and May 19th.
Okay.
I'm not sure we're close enough to pick which one at this point. How long of a trial do you think it would be?
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll kind of tee you all up for that date, but so you'll come back for your next pretrial will be April 28th, and then if y'all want to talk, I can't guarantee I can give you 1 week or the other or whatever particular days, but if it really works out, you can get everybody here at a particular time. I'll do my best to accommodate that.
Okay.
The sooner I know what it is, obviously, the better I can accommodate it, so I'll do what I can.
Yeah, Ms. Boston and I get along fine, except on trial days. Next case is Jared Pierce, 24 CF 2599, 24 CF 1948.
He's an inmate. We do inmates on Wednesdays now to split things up. Have you talked to Mr. Pierce about that?
Yeah, Mr. Pierce is aware that there are still pending charges to be filed.
Okay.
So that, we would ask for a continuance based on that.
I'll go ahead and put that on 4/28. If something happens, Mr. Switek, and you need to get it back in front of me, you can certainly get another date ahead of that if Mr. Pierce has any
And that's
concerns.
a good possibility. And that's all I have.
No, we just, maybe you weren't here when I first talked about it. We're just splitting things up, and they're doing that in Judge Stone's division and Judge Clark's division, because otherwise there's just too many cases to do in one day.
Do the clerk's notices reflect that?
They don't. That will be fixed starting today. So what's going to happen is that the notices are going to, because initially we had talked about putting them all set in for Monday, kind of like Santa Rosa used to do. I'm not sure if they do it like that anymore, which I wasn't in favor of, and then it was changed, and I guess I didn't get the second memo. So so apologies for it happening today. I know what that's like. I've driven to Santa Rosa County before and found out my case wasn't going to be that day.
Oh.
But he'll be on Wednesdays going forward. If they're inmates, private, RCC, PD, all inmates will be on the Wednesdays of the pretrial week. But the clerk's notices will reflect that going forward from this date.
That's great. Thank you, Judge. That's all I've got.
Because we were here till about 7:30 at our first pretrial, so we're trying to avoid that again. Mr. Kilpatrick.
Good morning, Your Honor. Keith Kilpatrick representing.
Now I got to flip all the way back to the case.
Well, it's actually Mr. Newland's case. Yeah.
Newland? Okay.
N-E-W-L-O.
Yeah, I got it.
It's going to be Courtney Scheffelben, case number 24 CF 2609. He was just asking for a continuance on that case, Your Honor.
Looks like it's probably a first time up.
I believe it is, Your Honor.
Yes, and he has shared with me a motion to suppress that
Correct.
I believe I need to consider. I just had to email the officer to let him know, and then I was going to get back with Mr. Newland on it.
Perfect.
Has it been filed?
He hasn't filed it, Your Honor, but I don't believe he may not need to file it.
It's just a courtesy copy to the state, and we're going to see if we
Very
can work it
civil
outside
rules
of the
you.
court.
You got to confer before you can even file a motion in civil now.
Well, I mean, it's that civil, and we're that efficient, so.
And I agree with Mr. Newland on the motion. As I said, I just wanted to do due diligence.
Sounds like a win. Yeah.
All right, April 28th at 9 o'clock, if the case is still around at that.
Yes, Your Honor. I also had two others but they're inmates, so I'll see you Wednesday, Judge.
On Wednesday.
All right,
Sorry
maybe
for that.
excuse you. No worries at all. I understand.
We've got to do it in order to get everybody out of here at a decent time and not shuffling inmates nonstop for 2 days.
Totally understand.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Mr. Tony?
Here I have one matter before the court for myself, and that's 2024 CF 1580, State of Florida versus Kevin McKinney. I would like to continue the discovery and have depositions scheduled in this matter. So
Is there a waiver?
Yeah, it's a waiver on file, Your Honor.
There's a waiver. All right, go ahead.
So we'd simply would ask that a continuance so we continue discovery in this case.
It's from July. It's not terribly old, but it's getting there, especially when we only come back every 2 months, so.
Also, Your Honor, I'm covering for Mr. Henderson today, and he has 3 matters, but apparently.
Let me just announce on McKinney, it's April 28th at 9. All right, go ahead, Mr. Henderson.
Okay, 2 matters, because Anthony Miles, he's incarcerated, so I guess he'll have to deal with that on Wednesday.
Yes.
Kevin Josie, 22 CF 1289. There's a waiver on file. Mr. Henderson is requesting that this be set for a docket day.
For trial?
Ready for trial, yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I think we talked about this last one, that you were unavailable, Ms. Barrickman, but
Yes, that's correct, Judge. Are we ready for trial? And just to clarify, the defendant is formally rejecting the state's downward departure offer. Is that correct?
Mr. Henderson did not give me that, that word, so I don't know.
Can you ask Mr. Henderson to sign President Docket Day, please?
Will do.
Thank you.
I know that was talked about last time, but it was someone different covering for Mr. Henderson. I'm trying to remember his name now.
The state did file an amended information. 1 month department, the max of 15 years.
Okay. Let's have him here for March 3rd at 9 o'clock for purposes of our docket day and setting his trial date.
And next, he has State of Florida versus Tommy Kelly, 23 CF 2143. There's a waiver on file. Mr. Henderson has just been retained in December, and he's in the process of scheduling depositions with the state and wants this matter continued.
I mean, Judge, the state doesn't, the state could set it for trial, understanding that Mr. Henderson, I guess, was recently hired, but the arrest date was September of 23. We would just defer to Your Honor on that.
All right. As far as Kelly, I'll put him on April 28th at 9 o'clock. It'll be a last continuance, Mr. Tony, so if you want to pass it along to Mr. Henderson. I know he's new to the case, but the case is very old, especially for a third-degree possession charge.
That's at 9 o'clock, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
All right, that's all I have, Your Honor.
All right.
Good seeing you, Judge.
You too. All right. Morning.
Stephen Webster here, Your Honor, on behalf, first of all, I'd like to call 22 CF 1476. I represent Evan Reynolds, Your Honor. I'm also covering for Nathan Prince, who represents Brandon Hardaway. I know Mr. Flowers, he represents Mr. Johns, and y'all sent it to the 428 date earlier, so we would ask just to travel along there. We had depositions scheduled for the last fact witnesses, but we had trouble making service, so we're resetting those now. And we have one expert.
Hardaway for Mr. Prince, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
No objection from Ms.
Let me just make sure I find yours as well, Mr. Webster. All right, so that'll be April 28th at 9 o'clock. I'd really like some movement to be made on these cases. I know what it is, but it's pushing 3 years at this point.
But we've had a hard time getting depots.
Oh, I know. Sorry that you're the one that's standing here when I said it. I think I said it to Mr. Flowers, but I was talking to the state attorney as well. Although Ms. Glisten, I think, is just covering for Ms. Sandler, so she's not here. But this case has to make some progress.
Well, I think I've got 2 full days of local fact witnesses and then their expert, who's the toxicologist. They haven't identified a new use of force expert. If they do identify one of those, then I'll have to figure out where they're at and find them to depose them.
All right.
But we're ready to file motions, I think, Judge, if I can just get these last depositions done. I've already started drafting them, so.
Okay. And I understand there's been some movement back and forth and who's on the case, so.
Yes, sir.
All right. We'll see you back on April 28th at 9 o'clock.
I have one other matter, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is case 4622 CF 1981. It's State of Florida versus Francesco Anthony Stevens. My client's here. Mr. Stevens. Plea today, Judge.
Is that for Mr. Baptiste? Is that for Mr. Baptiste you're covering?
Yes, sir.
That's your part. That's your
my law
partner.
partner. I filed a notice of appearance this morning. Your Honor.
Okay. Oh, that's fine.
Pursuant to an agreement with the state, Your Honor, count 1, battery will be dismissed. Mr. Stevens will plead nolo contendere to count 2, falsification of an official record. Pursuant to an agreement with the state, adjudication of guilt is going to be withheld. He'll be placed on 24 months of probation with the following special condition. He'll complete an anger management course, pay costs and fines, and restitution is reserved for 120 days. He's have no contact with Connor LaRose, and that's who the restitution would go to if there is a sum ordered. I have a plea and acknowledgement of rights form. I've reviewed it with my client. The state signed it, he signed it.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
I've got the score sheet too, Your Honor.
Okay, I was asking this because I see he's pleading to the felony charge. All right, so it's Mr. Stevens?
Yes, sir.
All right, raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Can you state your name and date of birth, please?
Francesco Anthony Stevens, 11/27/1978.
Okay, I've been given a plea and sentencing agreement in 22 CF 1981. That calls for count 1, battery to be dismissed, count 2, the falsification of an official record, 3rd-degree felony, punishment up to 5 years in prison, that you be entering a plea of nolo contendere, to withhold and 24 months probation, and the other terms that your attorney announced. I'll pronounce them in a bit. I just want to make sure that's what you want to do today.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have you gone through this plea and sentencing agreement with your attorney?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand it?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign it?
Yes, sir.
And did your attorney, I know you've got Mr. Webster here, but you probably talked to Mr. Baptiste about this as well. They're law partners, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you satisfied with their advice and representation?
Yes, sir.
Are you under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, or controlled substances?
No, sir.
Any prior diagnosis of mental health?
No, sir.
All right. Has anyone forced, pressured, or threatened you in any way to sign this plea agreement?
No, sir.
Has anyone promised you anything in return for the plea agreement?
No, sir.
You understand that by entering a plea, even of no contender, that you're giving up your right to a trial?
Yes, sir.
All right. Do you understand that you won't have any of the trial rights? You're waiving those that are all listed here on page 2 of your agreement?
Yes, sir.
You understand you're waiving any potential defenses that you may have?
Yes, sir.
Is there a factual basis for the plea? All right, Mr. Webster, you're stipulating to that. State and defense, any physical evidence that could be tested for DNA that could exonerate Mr. Stevens?
Not that the state is aware of.
All right, none for both. All right, and what is your plea, Mr. Stevens?
No contest.
All right. I'll accept your no contest plea as freely, voluntarily, knowingly given to count 2, falsification of the record. Count 1, state have an announcement.
State dismisses count 1, the battery charge.
Okay. A withhold adjudication, 24 months probation with the special conditions, complete an anger management course, pay the court costs, which will be $515. Restitution, it says is reserved. Am I ordering and reserving amount or reservation on the ordering?
I'm asking the court to order to impose restitution, determine the amount within under 20 days.
Okay. Any issue with that, Mr. Webster? Okay, so I'm going to order restitution, reserve on the amount for a period of 120 days. If there's an agreement, obviously make sure you send something in. Otherwise, we can set that for a hearing. This is a guideline sentence, correct?
It is, Your Honor.
Okay, and I don't think I mentioned it, but the restitution goes to Connor LaRose, also no contact with Connor LaRose. Okay, anything that I've missed?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, step over and speak with probation. You have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence. You have fingerprints. I'm not sure.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
The no contact is with Connor LaRose also?
Yes, I think I said that at the very end.
Who will,
I missed it initially. It was only on page 2, so.
who will ask the supervision fees be waived?
Even with private counsel?
Oh, I didn't know. Okay. What you want us to set at?
I didn't object, Judge.
Isn't it $40 a month normally?
I don't have
Anything else,
anything
Mr.
further.
Webster?
No, sir.
All right,
Thank you
safe
very much.
travels.
Thank you, sir.
Ms. Flowers, I think you're up.
Just realized that I really supposed to be here till 1, but I do have some clients that are here that are ready.
I think we've said that RCC can be on the morning if you've got your people here.
Okay, yeah, I'll be back at 1, but the ones that are here, if we could go ahead and take care of. Sure. Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. Llewellyn seems to be approaching at this point in
I don't think
24
private
CF.
attorneys are going to fill up the entire morning. I mean, it's only 11 o'clock and you're up, so.
Right, thank you.
I think going forward, just have your clients here for the 9 o'clock docket, even though they'll be closer to the end.
Okay.
As opposed to coming in the afternoon.
Okay, thank you, Judge. I appreciate that. This is James Llewellyn in 24 CF 2311. I'm requesting a continuance. We've been provided a large amount of reciprocal discovery that I'm still working through. I need to get to the state, as well as set the depositions of the victim in this case. So we're asking for a continuance.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right. It'll be April 28th we're going to keep you at 9 o'clock, Mr. Llewellyn.
Ms. Abrams, Barbara Abrams. We're here in case number 24 CF 1144 and 24 CF 2516. We have reached an agreement with the state. And I believe that all the parties have signed. If I may approach with the agreement.
This is downward departure.
It is.
All right, Ms. Abrams, can you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
All right. Can you state your name and date of birth, please?
Barbara Ann Abrams, 12/24/1964.
All right, so Ms. Abrams, you're here in 24 CF 2516, charged with possession of a controlled substance, a third-degree felony, punished by up to 5 years in Department of Corrections, and possession of drug paraphernalia, punished by up to a year in the county jail. You also have 24 CF 1144, but according to this, that will be dismissed as part of your plea. Do you understand that? Okay. You understand that was a felony petty theft and also will punished by up to 5 years in state prison. Okay. All right, and this calls for probation and some terms of mental health court. You ready to do that today? Okay. Have you gone over this plea and sentencing agreement with your lawyer, Ms. Flowers?
Sir.
Okay. Can you just make sure you're speaking into the microphone?
Yes, sir.
I can hear you and you're nodding along, but I feel like the record may not be picking you up.
Okay.
All right. Did you go over this agreement and sign it?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand it?
Yes, sir.
Did Ms. Flowers answer any questions if you
Yes,
had
sir.
any? Are you satisfied with her work and representation?
Yes, sir.
And are you under the influence of any alcohol, drugs,
No.
or controlled
No, sir.
substances? Just wait for me to finish.
Okay.
If we talk at the same time, the record really doesn't pick us up well.
Okay.
Okay. Any mental health diagnosis in the past? Okay. Do you understand what's going on here, though?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you need any more time to talk to anyone before I accept your
No,
plea?
sir.
Okay. Has anyone forced, pressured, or threatened you in any way to enter this plea?
No, sir.
Has anyone promised you anything in return for your plea?
No, sir.
You understand that by entering a plea, you've been giving up your right to a trial and all your trial rights that are discussed on page 2 of your agreement.
Yes, sir.
You understand you're waiving any potential defenses that you may have had?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and do you agree that there is a factual basis for this plea?
Yes, sir.
Okay. State and defense, any physical evidence for which DNA can exonerate Miss Abrams?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, Miss Abrams, your plea?
No contest.
Okay, I'll accept your no contest plea is freely, voluntarily, knowingly given. On 24 CF 2516, count 1, adjudication, 3 years standard probation, successfully complete mental health court as a term of your probation. Has someone talked to you about mental health court?
Yes, sir.
Have you gone to observe it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You think that's the program for you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. $615 in court costs, $150 cost of defense, waive cost of supervision. Count 2 is an adjudication, concurrent 11 months, 29 days of standard probation, concurrent mental health court. You've got costs on here as well, but that's concurrent. This is the same case. Okay, and then continue to waive cost of supervision in that charge as well. And then 24 CF 1144, state have an announcement.
Was it 1144, Judge, that?
1144. I've got it listed as a null pros.
And does this plea also encompass the 24 CF 2753, Judge?
753. I don't think I have that listed.
I apologize, Judge. My understanding was that it was going to be a plea to 24 CF 1144 and 24 CF 2516, and the state would null pros 24 CF 2753.
I just wrote,
Let me give you
I
that.
wrote it wrong.
You didn't do anything wrong, Ms. Adams. We're just going to make sure all the cases are on here. Otherwise, we're going to have to do some more court dates.
Can we just pass her?
As far as I see, the 2753 case is not mentioned here at all.
I apologize, Judge. If we can just pass her and
We'll bring you back up, Ms. Abrams. I don't think it's really going to change anything. It's just going to make sure all the cases are taken care of.
Just come back to court today? Okay.
so we'll pass her for now. And sorry about that, Judge.
So come back at 1:30?
Ms. Abrams, take your seat. We'll call you
this
back
morning.
up.
Yeah, we'll call you back up. Just have a seat. Okay. Evelyn Colbert. We have reached an agreement with the state, if I may approach.
Need a state attorney's signature on that.
I'm sorry, Judge.
All right, Ms. Colbert, can you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. Your name and date of birth?
Evelyn Colbert, 6404.
Okay, and that's Colbert, Colbert. Okay. All right, you're here in 24 CF 1635, currently charged with 14 counts of aggravated animal cruelty. I've been handed a plea and sentencing agreement that's now been signed by all parties that would have you plead to counts 1 through 4, and the state's going to dismiss 5 through 14. Is that your understanding?
Yes.
All right, and it's going to be 3 years probation and adjudication of guilt. Do you understand that makes you a convicted felon? Okay. Is that what you want to do today?
Yes, sir.
Did you go over this plea and sentencing agreement with your attorney, Ms. Flowers? And did you understand it? Did you sign it?
Yes.
Okay. And Are you satisfied with Ms. Flowers' advice and representation?
Yes.
Are you under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, or controlled substances?
No.
Any mental health diagnosis in the past?
No.
Okay. Has anyone forced, pressured, or threatened you in any way to enter this plea?
No.
Has anyone promised you anything in return for your plea? Do you understand by by entering a plea, you're giving up your right to a trial and the trial rights that are mentioned on page 2 of this agreement?
Yes, sir.
And you're waiving any potential defenses that you may have. Do you understand that? All right. And do you agree there's a factual basis for your plea to counts 1 through 4? State or defense know of any physical evidence for which DNA could exonerate Ms. Colbert?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Flowers?
Not that the defense is aware, no.
Okay. All right. And what is your plea, Ms. Colbert?
No contest.
I'll accept your no contest plea as freely, voluntarily, knowingly given. Adjudicate you guilty on counts 1 through 4. State have an announcement on 5 through 14.
No cross, Judge.
Okay. On 1 through 4, it'll be 36 months probation, run concurrent between the 4 charges, means they all run at the same time. It says no care of any animals, but I'm just making no custody or possession of any animals, have no animals in your care while you're on probation. Consent to random checks from animal welfare to make sure that there's no animals present at your home. 50 hours of community service. That's not to be done with any kind of animal welfare or anything to do with animals. Do you understand that?
Sir.
Okay. $515 in court costs. Is that $150 cost of representation? Waive cost of supervision. This looks like the other one, it's slightly a downward departure.
Yes, sir.
She would have
Yes, Your
scored 12.3 months. So it's an uncoerced plea bargain. All right. Any questions, Ms. Colbert?
No, sir.
All right, step over and talk to probation. You have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court. You also need to get your fingerprints done. Are you doing fingerprints before probation? Okay. I was just looking at Steve
Victoria.
differently. You guys are confused.
Wait, McLoyd?
All right, next case.
Victoria McLoyd is present and approaching. In 24 CF 2146, we have reached an agreement, if I may approach.
Raise your hand, ma'am. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
All right, please state your name and date of birth, please.
Victoria McLeod, 7/12/05.
Okay. Ms. McLeod, you're here in 24 CF 2146. You're currently charged with possession of a controlled substance, which is a third-degree felony punishable by up to 5 years in prison, and possession of drug paraphernalia punishable by up to a year in county jail. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I just need you to say it out loud. All right, this plea calls for count 1 to be reduced to possession of marijuana less than 20 grams, a first-degree misdemeanor, and you're going to end up with paying some costs and have about 90 days to do that. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Is that what you want to do?
Yes, sir.
Have you gone over this agreement with your attorney, Ms. Flowers?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand it?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign it?
Yes, sir.
Did Ms. Flowers answer any questions if you had any?
Yes.
All right. Are you satisfied with her work and representation in this case?
Yes, sir.
Are you under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, or controlled substances?
No, sir.
Do you have any prior mental health diagnosis?
No, sir.
Has anyone forced, pressured, or threatened you in any way to enter this plea?
No, sir.
Has anyone promised you anything in return for your plea?
No, sir.
You understand by entering a plea, you're giving up your right to a trial and all your trial rights, which are on page 2 of the document that you reviewed and signed.
Yes, sir.
And you're waiving any potential defenses that you may have.
Yes, sir.
Do you agree there's a factual basis for your plea?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And state and defense, any physical evidence that could exonerate Ms. McLoud?
No, sir. No, Your Honor, I'm not aware.
Sorry. Just making sure we're covering all bases. All right. And what is your plea, Ms. McLeod?
No contest.
All right, no contest plea will be accepted as freely, voluntarily, knowingly given to the lesser included misdemeanor marijuana charge in count 1. Withhold of adjudication, $270 in court costs, $100 cost of defense. Also withhold on count 2, the paraphernalia charge, same costs. You have 90 days to pay those costs, otherwise they'll go to collection. All right, and there's no sentencing guidelines because they're misdemeanors. All right, thank you, Ms. McLeod. We don't need any fingerprints, and we don't have probation. You have 30 days to appeal, though.
And next, if I could just call Justin Nolan. This is Justin Nolan. He is here before the court in case number 24 CF 2044. This is my first time at pretrial conference, and I believe I've noted that I don't have an offer, but that doesn't seem right. But I'm asking for a continuance.
Who's the state on this one?
This is my case, Your Honor. There is, there's no objection to a continuance.
Has an offer been made?
The offer was an adjudication of guilt, 18 months probation, $515 in court costs, not to return to any Walmart in Okaloosa County, and show proof of an anti-theft class. I believe that was, it's possible that was conveyed to the attorney. Yes, yes.
And that's fine. If we could just get if we reach resolution, we'll move him up for an early plea, but it looks like I need to talk to my client about that.
Okay. April 28th at 9 o'clock will be your next court date, Mr. Nolan.
8 o'clock or what?
9 o'clock. Did I say 8?
I'm sorry, I'm tripping.
It's
9
always,
and 8?
It's always okay to correct me on dates and times and things like that. I
So
want to
it's
make
9
sure you're
o'clock?
here at the right time.
9 o'clock?
9 o'clock on April 28th.
All right, yes, sir.
Okay. Make sure you stay in contact with your
Yes, sir.
attorney. It sounds like y'all have some things to discuss.
Judge. Mr. John Ponder. He is present and approaching. He's before the court today. And flipping through here. In case number 24 CF 2777, we're requesting a continuance.
This will be the first time up.
Yes, first time up.
No objection.
Thank you, Judge.
April 28th, 9 o'clock. Mr. Ponder, make sure you're back on that date.
So April 28th at 9 a.m.
All right. Make sure you're here on that date.
And lastly, this morning, I have Kelsey Todd in 24 CF 2218. I was requesting one final thing from the state.
I'm gonna have to ask for some time to look at it. I don't really want to make a snap decision.
Get back on Monday.
Do you want to come back at 1 o'clock, or do you want to come back on Monday? Could we do 1 o'clock, or do you want to do Monday?
I don't know what y'all are talking about.
It's adjudication with, we had discussed an adjudication, but I'm asking for a withhold based on she's not been a convicted felon.
If she wants to stay till 1, I'll take a look at it before then.
Thank
Come back
you,
at
I
1
appreciate
o'clock.
that.
We'll readdress it.
Thank you. I think those are all my people that are here this morning, so I'll be back at 1, thank you. Or I have to recall Miss Abrams.
All right, go talk to her, and then Mr. Nopes, did you want to recall yours?
Mr. Richardson?
I haven't had a chance to look at the plea agreement since I've been on.
Need a few minutes to look at Richardson's plea agreement. If I could handle another matter, just wait just a
Richardson,
second.
take a seat, and I'll call you back up a third time.
Brandon Hardaway.
Hardaway?
Yeah, I told Adrian Middleton that I'd cover for him and Mr. Prince.
I think Mr. Webster covered that.
Okay, so it just
Tallahassee.
it got continued?
It got continued.
Okay, good deal.
Mr. Rycroft? Okay. I just want to make sure because I've got him listed to recall him as well. Yes, ma'am. All right. All right, let me check those. All right, I've got some people here who are listed as not having an attorney. Kenneth Harrison. Mr. Harrison here. Bear, do y'all have anything on Kenneth Harrison? Looks like he was last on the docket on December 26th, and it said for him to provide probation with documents showing what he's completed. I don't want to issue a KPS fund now. He turned in everything he was supposed to before I took over. And
Thank you.
Judge, my notes questioned why he was on this docket, Judge, so I thought maybe he had been moved to a different docket when I was researching the case.
last thing I see him present for was December 26th, and this is the date that was given. But the clerk's notes also shows provide probation with documents showing complete.
I thought he got, I thought he did 3 years probation or accepted.
On the 26th?
Yes.
It circled, referred to collections for whatever's owed, so that would seem to make sense, but.
That's it, Your Honor. We check and make sure.
Okay, it's just, I don't have any memory of it because I wasn't at that court date. That was 4 days before I took over, so, all right. I think the only other one is McDonald. He's in custody, so we'll see him on Wednesday. All right. We have a lot of people here still. I'm running out of names. All right. Do you have y'all talked to anybody who's here? Okay. Well, is anyone here represented by the public defender? If you're here for the public defender, they're at 1:30. We're probably going to start at 1 o'clock if they all get here on time because it looks like we're about done. I announced that at 9 a.m., so if you didn't hear that, it might have been because you weren't in the room.
I don't know.
Well, I'll take care of some of the people.
Mr. Maddox, did you have something? I saw you filed like a no
I
early
have-
plea.
Yes, Your Honor. I will begin appearing before you. I am in the process of transitioning over here to felony, so I have nothing today, Your Honor, but
I know you've been kind of
Look
hanging
forward
out,
to it.
so it's good to get a scouting report. Are you taking over for somebody?
we're in the process of transitioning it, so I don't want to put my foot in my mouth. But yes, cases will start transitioning over to me from Mr. Gibbs, is my understanding. Third-degree felonies is what I'll start with. And then new cases will start appearing in my name, Your Honor.
Okay.
Your Honor, may I approach 1 second to discuss? I'll tell you what it is.
Mr. Flanagan? I'll figure it out.
Is that Mr. Flanagan? He's represented by?
He's represented by the PD, Your Honor.
Congratulations, Crestview's very own Dixie Dan Powell of Powell Injury Law, for your recent jury verdict of $11.5 million for your client from a death and injury against an inflatable amusement company. Recognized in 2017 as one of the top 100 civil trial lawyers in the state of Florida, and Dixie is AV preeminent rated. Dixie Dan Powell works tirelessly for his clients, as is evident by this extraordinary verdict. If you're taking your case to trial, be prepared. Contact Dixie Dan Powell and Powell Injury Law, 850-306-2667.
Backbone Bakery Cafe is 2 blocks from the courthouse on Crestview's historic Main Street. We serve handmade pastries, espresso, and lunch items, and we're open Tuesday to Saturday from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m., serving lunch from 11 to 2. We hope to see you soon.
Hello, I am Bonnie from Body Be Healthy here in Crestview. We have been serving the area since 1999. We're an alternative health food store. If you're interested in bettering your health, we'd like to invite you to stop by. We're located in Court Plaza. Stop by and let us help you be healthy.
I'm Amanda Gaskin with Briarpatch Realty. Helping qualified heroes save money is my passion. When I help a hero buy or sell a home, they receive a check from Homes for Heroes. Check out amandasheroes.com for more information.
For more than 70 years, the sweet aroma of the Crestview's Coney Islands burgers and hot dogs has permeated the downtown area. If you have not experienced the unique flavor of Crestview's Coney Islands burgers and hot dogs, then I encourage you to join us for lunch. Monday through Thursday from 10 a.m. till 3 p.m., Friday from 10 a.m. till 4 p.m., and Saturday from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. We're located in historic downtown Crestview at 107 North Main Street. Call 850-683-1045.
CQ Roofing, your hometown roofer since 1999. We're state licensed and insured, family owned and operated with 24 years of local service. We specialize in shingles and metal, re-roofs, repairs, and leak specialists. For all of your roofing needs, call us today or visit our website at cqroofing.com. CQ Roofing, your hometown roofer.
Hey, I'm David at Family Vision of Crestview. We've been providing excellent optical service for Northwest Florida for over 34 years. Come in and let us take care of you.
Written plea to a misdemeanor. That's 22 CF 2005. So the count 2 will be dismissed as part of the plea. Count 1 is $615 in court costs, 11 months, 29 days probation supervised by JCS. No contact with the victim. And then testify truthfully, which I think one of the co-defendants has already pled this morning. Be a withhold of adjudication. This is only a misdemeanor. There's no sentencing guidelines. 515. Well, it says 615. Just a little something for you.
Yeah. I wish I had a little tip jar.
Yeah, tip jar. Every other place has a tip jar now. Every time they sign their notice, you just turn around a little iPad and let them. All right, so I'm going to sign the written plea agreement, and that'll get filed. I'll be able to eat my whole lunch today.
I got the answer on
Harrison.
Yes, sir. I spoke with the supervising officer. He has not
This is what I'm going to do. During the lunch hour, I'm going to go back and review what happened on the 26th, just so I can see exactly what was said. I see the court has today's date for the court date, but I just want to, since it's confusing, I want to make sure before I issue a capias for him. So I'll go take a look at that at lunch.
Your Honor, may I be excused?
Yes, sir.
All
We'll
right,
see you
I'll
at
be
1
back
o'clock.
after lunch.
If you want to tell your colleagues if they want to be here at 1, because I'm not sure if we said 1 or 1:30.
I'll let them know.
Just say 1 because we'll be ready to go.
All right, thank you, Your Honor.
We've never had a lunch on a pretrial date before. So I'm going to be in a good mood and everything. Come on up, Marty. Mr. Nopes, come on up.
Yes, sir. Mr.
Sorry.
Richardson is approaching, Your Honor. What did I do with this? What did I do with the plea agreement?
Richardson, here we are. All right, 24 CF 2764.
Judge, if I may approach.
Did you tell him to wear that shirt today, Mr. Nopes?
I'm sorry?
Did you tell him to wear that shirt
I
today?
did. I mean, I don't know who he roots for, but I know he's a college football fan. If I could approach him.
Katie brought me my Tigers mug, not my Gators mug today, so otherwise there could be a conflict.
So, Judge, Mr. Richardson in 24 CF 2764 is going to enter a no contest plea. He's going to receive 2 years probation, adjudications withheld, $515 in court costs, 50 hours community service work, and maintain gainful employment. And if he's not employed, then he needs to have at least 2 job applications per week. I will tell the court that he resides in Tampa, so he needs to be able to transfer. And I told him that he had to talk to probation and they got to give him a travel permit, and it may be tomorrow, maybe the day after. It's just the way it works. He understands it.
Even in state?
No, Your Honor. In state, he'll be transferred today.
Okay.
The office in time.
I think only out of state do they have to do that travel permit. Otherwise, it's funny. If you go from right across the border into Alabama, it's all sorts of issues. But if we transfer you down to Monroe County, you're fine.
Wow, okay. I didn't know that. I thought, I mean, it used to be anytime.
Well, I think it's because it's in state, it's not a problem. All right, Mr. Richardson, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony about to give us the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir, I do.
All right, can you state your name and date of birth, please?
12/22/05.
05.
2005. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I'm starting to realize that there are kids who were born after I started practicing law right now up here in front of me. Significantly, too, a couple of years. All right, Mr. Richardson, you're here in 24 CF 2764, charged with possession of forged notes, which is a third-degree felony and punishable up to 5 years in the Department of Corrections, and driving without a valid driver's license, which is a second-degree misdemeanor, punished by up to 60 days in county jail or 6 months probation. This calls for a withhold adjudication, probation, and the terms that your attorney just announced. Is that what you want to do today?
Yes, sir.
All right. Have you gone over this plea and sentencing agreement with him?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand it?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign it?
Yes, sir.
Did Mr. Nopes answer any questions that you may have had?
Sir.
Are you satisfied with his advice and representation?
Sir.
Are you under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, or controlled substances? Any mental health diagnosis? All right. Has anyone forced, pressured, or threatened you in any way to enter this plea?
Sir.
Has anyone promised you anything in return for your plea?
No, sir.
You understand by entering a plea there won't be a trial of any kind, and you've waived your trial rights that are on page 1 of your agreement?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand all those?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand you're waiving any potential defenses that you have? Is there a factual basis for your plea? Do you agree there's sufficient facts to enter your plea? Okay. The state and defense have know of any physical evidence that could exonerate Mr. Richardson for DNA purposes? Okay. And what is your plea, Mr. Richardson?
No contest.
All right. I'm going to accept your no contest plea in 24 CF 2764 to both counts. Withhold adjudication, 2 years probation on count 1. Count 2 will be 6 months probation concurrent, which means they run at the same time, but I can't give you more than the maximum on that one because it's a misdemeanor, so that's why I'm saying only 6 months on that one. 515 in court costs, 50 hours of community service work, maintain gainful employment or show proof of at least 2 job applications per week to your probation officer. I'm going to order a restitution reserve on that amount to be determined within the next 90 days. You live in Hillsborough County, is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so transfer probation to Hillsborough County. There's a $150 court-appointed legal assistance fee, and waive supervision fees, as long as Hillsborough goes along with that.
That was the point.
Okay. Anything, the state's agreement, and it's a guideline sentence.
Yes.
He doesn't score. All right. You have 30 days to appeal a judgment and sentence of the court. Mr. Richardson, make sure you talk to probation here so they can get your paperwork moving and get you to Hillsborough.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Nopes. We'll see you Wednesday. Are we recalling Rycroft, or what are we doing with him?
Mr. Rycroft. Judge, state wants until docket day to talk to the victim's family again or guardian.
Is that
We're fine with that.
Whittington?
We just put it on for the 3rd.
That's correct.
That's Whittington?
The victim.
Because his name came up in that other case today, too. All right, so March 3rd for docket day at 9 o'clock, Mr. Rycroft. Hopefully we can get things resolved on that day.
Good. Be here Monday,
Judge,
okay?
no subpoenas?
No subpoenas, right? Do you want subpoenas?
No subpoenas.
No subs.
I just want to, yeah, well.
Well, we'll just take whoever's here at 1 o'clock. I mean, I think we had been saying 1:30. I think going forward, we'll just start saying 1 o'clock. We're able to get through this. Done before. assuming there's nothing in the order I didn't, or the memo I haven't read that says 130. It's funny because there was a draft memo, and I was like, I don't think we should do it this way. I don't think I ever saw the final memo, which I found last week when y'all were asking about it. We changed it the way I wanted, but no one told me. Sounds like something that happened at